Hi guys, it's Steph here, and today I am going to do the I Am the Reader book tag. Now this was a book tag that was floating around a few months ago with the release of I Am the Reader by Tracy Chee, which is a book that I haven't read yet, but it is on my TBR and I cannot wait to start reading it. This tag was, I think, created by Penguin for the release, so that's really cool, and I really wanted to have a go at answering the questions for it. I wasn't tagged to do this, so I'm just going for it. Like, this is a shock for me. So, question 1, choose one word that describes being a reader. The word I'm going to go with is passionate, because I think most readers are really passionate about what they're reading. It doesn't matter what sort of genre you enjoy. I think you are to spend that much time getting involved in a world, you have to be really passionate about these characters and the world building and what's going on. And the same thing for non-fiction readers. I think if you are really interested in a topic, you're passionate about it, that's why you're reading those non-fiction books. So I think the word for me that describes being a reader is passionate. Question 2, what is the very first book that you fell in love with? This is kind of tough. When I was growing up, my favourite book was Possum Magic by Mem Fox, which is a picture book and it's a beautiful book, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you check it out. And I think from a very young age I was reading at home. We had lots and lots of books around, and that was one of them, and it's a very classic, iconic Australian picture book. The first adult novel that I think I read that got me back into reading, I'm going to go with 2, because I think there are 2 distinct times in my life where when I was in my very early teens and I'd sort of fell out of love with reading, there were 2 books that I picked up that sort of got me back into it. So the first one was The Lost World by Michael Crichton, which is obviously, the sequel to Jurassic Park, but I much prefer The Lost World to Jurassic Park. I don't know why, I do. And I picked that book up in my high school library when I was in year 8, so I was about 14 years old, and I read it and I loved it. I found Matthew Riley's Ice Station, and pretty much I haven't looked back since then. And I would credit that to being why I'm so obsessed with his books, because they're just fine to go with 3 books, which is cheating. But so Possum Magic by Mem Fox, The Lost World by Michael Crichton, and Ice Station by Matthew Riley. The next question is hardcover or paperback. Aesthetically, I like hardbacks, but for reading, I prefer paperbacks. I just find them easier to hold on to, and I don't have to take dust jackets off and leave them somewhere safe. So I'm going to go with paperback. And the next question is, how has reading shaped your identity? I think it's just opened me up to other worlds. I'm an introvert. I don't particularly like... I'm not a going out sort of person. I do like doing that with friends, but on the whole, I'm not super adventurous, and I know I should be. And I am in my own sort of way, and I do it within my comfort zone. But I find that reading helps me to escape, and so if I'm having a really bad day, it's an outlet, and it's a way that I can cope with what's going on. So in a way, that's helped shape my identity, because I know how I can bring myself out of a bad mood or a bad day, because I've got books and I've got the worlds and the characters created in those books, and I think that has really helped. Okay, the next question is, what book do you read when you need to be comforted? And this is going to sound really odd, because this book is not a traditional comfort book. I read Ice Station by Matthew Riley. As I said before, it was one of the first books that I picked up when I moved back to Melbourne, and I'd fallen sort of out of love with reading again. And yeah, anytime I just want to read a book because I don't know what to read, I feel like crap, I need something to read, I pick up Ice Station, which is ironic because it's not really a comfort book, because there's death and violence everywhere in that book. But that's ironically, that's my thing. So what does that say about me? Because I've always been a huge fan of action and adventure and that sort of stuff. And that's what, comforts me and helps me to escape, because it's very unreal to me. And it means that it's true escapism is what the word is. The next question is, who taught you to be a reader? It's a good question. I'm going to say my parents in general, because we always had lots of books and we were always encouraged to read. So that's my sister and I. So we were always encouraged to read and to enjoy books. I think developing myself as a reader over the years, it's probably been more my own personal drive to do that. My parents do read. They just don't read as much or as often as I do. So I've always seen them reading. But to sort of develop the pace and the enthusiasm that I have, I think that was personal. The next question is, describe your dream reading lounge. Now, I saw on Caroline the Reader's response to this, hers is very, very similar to mine, in that I would like floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, wall-to-wall bookshelves everywhere, a nice window, so it's nice and bright, and, if you have a window seat, that's really cool, but otherwise a really comfortable chair to sit near the window, and yeah, just lots and lots of books everywhere, so that you're never ever lacking in choice. And okay, yes, that whole sliding ladder along the bookshelves a la Beauty and the Beast would be amazing, and I would love that. I'd be happy just with lots and lots of books on lots and lots of bookshelves everywhere and a comfortable chair to read in. The last question is, what book changed the way you act or see the world? I don't think there's one particular book that's done that yet. One book recently that really struck me was, and I've talked about this book a lot, so you're probably going, yeah, just mention it again, Steph, is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I just loved the way the characters interacted in that book, and it hasn't changed the way I perceive the world, but it's reminded me that you can have really great relationships developed in books between characters of different races, of different gender orientations, of different ideologies, and it doesn't have to be, there doesn't have to be any conflict, massive conflict of interest in it. You can have conflict because of clashing ideas, but it doesn't have to be blown out of proportion. And I think in our world today, I think in today's world, there's so much clash of ideologies that we forget that it doesn't have to be a negative. People liking different things, people being different is not a drawback. It's actually a way for us to expand our own knowledge. So while the book hasn't changed the way I view the world, it has reminded me and given me hope that we can actually publish works like this, and hopefully one day the world will reflect that. So yes, that is the I Am the Reader tag. I'm not going to tag anyone because lots and lots of people have done this, but if you haven't done it and you would like to, please do. I will leave the questions down below so that you can grab them and you can have a go at doing it. My question for you guys is, do you prefer hardcover or paperback books? Do let me know. Why? Which do you prefer and why? Let me know. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.